There is a reason the loudest man in the room is rarely the strongest. Weak men speak to be noticed. Strong men don't need to. The world has convinced you that confidence is measured by how much you say, how quickly you respond, how loudly you defend yourself. But the Stoics understood a truth that most people will never discover. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power under control. Marcus Aurelius ruled the greatest empire on earth. Yet he never wasted words trying to impress people. He understood that every unnecessary sentence gives away a piece of your discipline, because the man who has mastered silence has already mastered himself. In this video, you'll discover why silent men are often the most respected, the most unpredictable, and yes, the most feared. Not because they intimidate with violence, but because they cannot be controlled. Once you understand the Stoic code of silence, you'll never look at quietness the same way again. Modern society has trained you to believe that your value is measured by how visible you are. Post more, talk more, defend yourself more, explain yourself to everyone. The louder your presence, the more successful you're supposed to appear. But look closely at the people who truly command respect. They rarely chase attention. They don't interrupt every conversation. They don't feel the need to prove their intelligence in every debate. Their confidence speaks before they ever do. The Stoics understood something that modern culture has forgotten. Silence is not the absence of confidence. It is often the evidence of it. Epictetus once advised his students to practice listening far more than speaking, not because words are unimportant, but because words become valuable only when they are rare. Think about a person who talks endlessly. Eventually, people stop listening. Every opinion becomes predictable. Every emotion becomes visible. Every weakness becomes exposed. Now think about someone who speaks only when necessary. When they finally open their mouth, the entire room becomes quiet. Not because they are louder, because people have learned that when they speak, their words matter. Silence creates weight, and weight creates influence. This is why the Stoics treated unnecessary speech as a form of weakness. Not moral weakness, but emotional weakness. Many people talk because silence makes them uncomfortable. Silence forces them to confront their thoughts, their fears, their regrets, their insecurities. So instead of sitting with themselves, they fill every empty moment with conversation, music, scrolling, or endless distraction. Noise becomes an escape. But Marcus Aurelius chose the opposite path. Even while carrying the burden of leading an empire, he constantly returned to quiet reflection. His greatest conversations were not with crowds. They were with himself. The pages of his journal, what we now know as meditations, were never written to impress anyone. They were private reminders. A silent conversation between a man and his own mind. That is where wisdom was formed. Not in applause, not in arguments, but in silence. The truth is, if you cannot sit quietly with your own thoughts, the world will always control your attention. Every opinion will shake you. Every insult will provoke you. Every criticism will demand a response. But when you become comfortable with silence, you stop reacting to everything. You begin choosing your responses instead of surrendering them. And that is where real power begins. There is something strange about human nature. Most people say they admire calm, disciplined individuals. Yet the moment they meet someone who speaks very little, they become uncomfortable. Because silence leaves room for imagination. When someone talks constantly, you quickly understand them. You know their opinions, their fears, their habits, their weaknesses. They become predictable, but a silent person is different. Their thoughts remain hidden. Their intentions are unclear. Their emotions are controlled. And what the human mind cannot predict, it often fears. This is why truly disciplined people are sometimes misunderstood. People mistake their quietness for arrogance, their patience for weakness, their self-control for coldness. But the Stoics never tried to correct every misunderstanding. Marcus Aurelius understood a simple truth. Your reputation is never fully under your control. Your character is. The moment you become obsessed with explaining yourself to everyone, you surrender your peace to their opinions. Think about how many arguments begin because someone feels the need to have the last word. One sentence becomes two become 20. Pride takes over. The conversation stops being about truth and becomes about victory. The Stoics refused to play this game. Sometimes the strongest response was no response at all. Not because they lacked an answer, but because they had mastered the discipline of choosing which battles deserved their energy. Silence is not surrender. It is selection. It is deciding that your peace is worth more than proving a point. In today's world, this kind of discipline has become incredibly rare. Social media teaches instant reactions. Every opinion demands another opinion. Every insult demands revenge. Every disagreement demands a public response. People have become addicted to being heard. The Stoics became powerful by learning when not to speak. And here is the irony. The less you seek attention, the more people notice you. The less you chase approval, the more respect you earn. Not because silence is a trick, but because genuine self-control is impossible to fake. A loud man can pretend to be confident for a few minutes. A silent man who remains calm under pressure reveals a confidence that cannot be performed. That is why silence carries weight. It forces others to reveal themselves while you remain grounded. The one who speaks first often exposes his emotions. The one who listens learns everything. The Stoics knew that every unnecessary word is an opportunity to lose control. Every unnecessary silence is an opportunity to gain it. Most people think influence comes from speaking well. The Stoics believed it came from thinking well. There is a profound difference between someone who always has something to say and someone whose words are worth waiting for. In every conversation, there are two kinds of people. The first speaks to fill the silence. The second allows silence to do part of the talking. The first tries to control the room with volume. The second controls the room with presence. And presence will always outlast performance. Have you ever noticed that the wisest person in the room is often the one speaking the least? They observe, they listen, they study. While everyone else is trying to be understood, they are trying to understand. This is why the Stoics considered listening to be one of the highest forms of discipline. When you truly listen, you begin seeing what words cannot hide. You notice hesitation. You notice insecurity. You notice confidence that is genuine, and confidence that is only pretending to exist. Silence sharpens perception. A man who is constantly preparing his next sentence cannot fully hear the one being spoken, but a man who is completely present learns more in 5 minutes than others learn in an hour. This is why silence creates influence, not because it makes you mysterious, but because it makes you aware, and awareness changes everything. Imagine walking into a meeting. Everyone is rushing to prove themselves. Everyone is talking over one another. Everyone wants to appear intelligent. Now imagine saying almost nothing. You simply observe. You ask one thoughtful question. You make one clear statement. Then you become quiet again. Who will people remember? Usually, the person whose words carried purpose, not the one who used the most of them. Seneca warned that excessive talking often reveals an undisciplined mind. The person who cannot control their speech often cannot control their emotions either. Every unnecessary argument, every emotional reaction, every desperate explanation leaks your strength. Silence protects it, but do not confuse silence with fear. The Stoic is not silent because he is afraid to speak. He is silent because he has learned that not every situation deserves his energy. His peace is too valuable to waste on every opinion. His attention is too valuable to scatter across every distraction. His words are too valuable to spend carelessly. This is why silence becomes influence, because people begin trusting the person who does not constantly seek attention. They begin respecting the one who remains calm, while others become emotional, and over time, they begin following the person who has already mastered himself. For the Stoics, influence was never about controlling other people. It was about controlling yourself so completely that your character became impossible to ignore. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that every attack deserves a response. Someone insults you, you answer. Someone doubts you, you explain yourself. Someone spreads rumors, you rush to defend your name. Without realizing it, they are controlling you. The Stoics understood something that modern society desperately needs to remember. The moment another person can decide your emotional reaction, they have gained power over you. Marcus Aurelius refused to hand people that power. He reminded himself that other people's actions belonged to them, but his response belonged to him. That simple distinction changes everything. Because once you understand it, you stop living as a prisoner of other people's behavior. Many people will try to provoke you, not because they seek truth, but because they seek a reaction. Your anger becomes their victory. Your frustration becomes their entertainment. Your emotional outburst becomes proof that they reached you. This is why silence is so dangerous to manipulative people. It gives them nothing. No argument. No drama. No satisfaction. Just calm. And calm cannot be manipulated easily. Think about the strongest tree during a storm. It doesn't argue with the wind. It doesn't try to stop the rain. It simply remains rooted. That is the image the Stoics wanted us to carry through life. Not a person who never faces conflict, but a person who refuses to become the conflict. Epictetus often reminded his students that if someone insults you, the insult itself is not what harms you. Your opinion of it does. That idea is difficult to accept, because our first instinct is to defend ourselves, to prove them wrong, to protect our pride. But pride is expensive. Peace is priceless. Every unnecessary argument costs energy. Every emotional reaction costs clarity. Every attempt to convince people who have already chosen misunderstanding costs time you will never get back. The Stoic asked a different question. Not, how do I win this argument? But, is this argument worthy of my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. Silence is not losing. Walking away is not weakness. Choosing peace over pride is not surrender. It is discipline. The strongest man is not the one who defeats everyone else, The strongest man is the one who cannot be emotionally controlled by anyone. That is the hidden power of silence. It protects your attention. It protects your judgment. It protects the only thing no one should ever be allowed to steal from you: your inner peace. There is a strange contradiction in human nature. The more desperately someone tries to earn respect, the less they usually receive. People who constantly announce their achievements often appear insecure. People who continuously remind others of their intelligence rarely seem wise. And people who demand respect almost never possess it. The Stoics understood something that modern society has almost forgotten. Respect is never something you ask for. It is something people decide to give you after watching your actions. Long before they listen to your words, they study your behavior. How do you respond under pressure? How do you react when you are insulted? How do you carry yourself when nobody is applauding? Character is revealed in silence, not in speeches. Marcus Aurelius never woke each morning asking himself, "How can I impress people today?" Instead, he asked a far more important question: "How can I become a better man today?" That difference changes everything. One man lives to be seen. The other lives to become worthy. The first depends on attention. The second depends on discipline. And discipline always outlives attention. This is why the Stoics place such enormous value on consistency. Anyone can appear wise for a moment. Anyone can sound confident during a conversation. But very few people can remain disciplined day after day, especially when nobody is watching. True strength is invisible. It is found in the promises you keep to yourself. The habits you build in private. The temptations you quietly overcome. The emotions you refuse to let control you. None of these victories receive applause, yet they are the victories that shape a man's character. And character always reveals itself eventually. People notice the person who remains calm while everyone else panics. They notice the man who listens before speaking. They notice the person who never needs to remind others of his worth. Because genuine confidence does not advertise itself. It simply exists. Seneca once wrote that the greatest proof of wisdom is a consistent mind. Not a perfect mind, a consistent one. Someone whose values remain steady whether life becomes easy or painfully difficult. That kind of consistency cannot be faked. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be performed for an audience. It must be lived. This is why silence earns respect. Not because silence is magical, but because silence allows your actions to become louder than your words. Eventually, people stop remembering what you said, but they never forget how you carried yourself. And in the end, that is the reputation every Stoic sought. Not to be known as the loudest man in the room, but as the one whose character spoke long after he had finished speaking. If you understand everything that came before this, then you begin to see a deeper truth. Silence was never just a strategy. It was never just a way to gain respect. It was never just a way to avoid conflict. Silence was self-mastery in its purest form. The Stoics were not silent because they had nothing to say. They were silent because they had learned something most people never master: control over the self. Because the real battle in life was never against other people. It was against impulsiveness, against emotional reactions, against the need to respond immediately to everything, against the desire to be understood by everyone. A man who cannot control his speech cannot control his life. Every unnecessary word is a small loss of discipline. Every emotional reaction is a moment of surrender. Every impulsive response is proof that the outside world still controls the inside world. Marcus Aurelius did not rule his empire through noise. He ruled it through restraint, through reflection, through measured action instead of emotional reaction. And that is why his wisdom still survives thousands of years later. Because silence preserves clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. The Stoics believed that wisdom was not measured by how much a person knows, but by how much of that knowledge they can actually live. Anyone can speak about patience. Very few can remain patient when tested. Anyone can talk about discipline. Very few can remain disciplined when it is uncomfortable. Anyone can quote philosophy, but only a few can embody it in silence. This is why the Stoic code of silence is not about becoming quiet for appearance. It is about becoming so aware of yourself that you no longer need to react to everything around you. You begin to observe life instead of constantly fighting it. You stop trying to win every conversation. You stop trying to prove every point. You stop trying to correct every misunderstanding. And slowly, you begin to notice something powerful happening. Your mind becomes lighter. Your reactions become slower but more precise. Your peace becomes less fragile, and your presence becomes stronger than your voice. Because silence removes what is unnecessary and leaves only what is essential. That is the Stoic code. Not silence for the sake of silence, but silence as discipline, silence as awareness, silence as power under control. And when a man reaches that level of control, he no longer needs to be loud to be understood. He is simply understood, without saying much at all. Everything you have heard in this video leads to one simple truth. Silence is not about being quiet. It is about being in control. Control over your reactions. Control over your emotions. Control over what deserves your attention. Most people live their entire lives reacting. Reacting to insults. Reacting to opinions. Reacting to emotions they never pause to understand. But the Stoic does something different. He pauses. He observes. He chooses. And in that choice, he becomes free, because freedom is not found in speaking more. It is found in needing less. Less validation, less approval, less noise, less emotional chaos. The Stoic code of silence is not about becoming distant from the world. It is about becoming so grounded within yourself that the world can no longer disturb your peace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that external events are not the problem. Our judgment of them is. And when you understand that deeply, you stop handing your peace to other people. You stop reacting just to be heard. You stop speaking just to be seen. And you begin to live with intention. So ask yourself this: are your words building your character, or are they just filling silence? Because in the end, you will not be remembered for everything you said. You will be remembered for the energy you carried, for the discipline you showed when no one was watching, for the silence you kept when others lost control. That is the Stoic way, and if you can master it, you won't need to announce your strength. People will feel it.